me, I'm a soul having a human experience. And that's just how I look at life. Uh, but yeah, let's get into the journey. Before my breakthrough experience, I had two DMT attempts before that. The first time nothing happened, so I don't really want to talk about that. Like we kind of messed it up. We were a little, you know what I mean, we smoked it wrong. Uh, the device it came in, it was a vape. It kind of like burnt, so I ended up selling it to somebody who knew how to get it out. And that was my first time getting DMT. I was waiting for so long to find it, but you know, that's just what happened the first time. Fast forward a year later, I run into DMT again, and the first time I smoked it, I pulled up a chair to my back door, which was a sliding door, and we were on the second floor, so I'm looking at nothing but trees and the sky. That's my view. I sit back, my DMT comes in a vape again. It has that burnt plastic smell, but like a naturey smell. Not naturey, I just made up a word, but like an outside smell to it. Anyone who smoked DMT before, they know like that smell is so distinct, like, and then you start randomly smelling it everywhere after you smoke it. I don't know if that happens to everybody. I've seen a couple reports where people talk about they start smelling it at random times, random spots or whatever. But so I pull up the chair. I think I put some music on to kind of calm my spirit because I knew I was about to go somewhere. I took the first hit, held it in for 15 seconds, blew it out, nothing happened. Second hit, did the same thing, 20 seconds. This time, it felt like my body was already starting to feel like the peak of a mushroom trip. Like my body just started feeling really, I don't know how they describe it. These things are unexplainable, man. It felt like I just wanted to sink. Like my body just wanted to fall back. The third hit I took, and it seemed like everything around me started pixelating. I'm looking at the trees, and the green of the trees is getting so bright in my field of vision. It was like overwhelming. All the colors were overwhelming. It was kind of like a super overwhelming LSD visual, kind of. But I knew I didn't break through, and I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I got a little bit nervous. It was super overwhelming and intense. And another thing, it felt like the air got sucked. This is when I guess I didn't want to take the last hit. It felt like the air got sucked out of the room. It felt like time stopped, if that even makes sense. It just felt like everything froze. That shook me up a little bit, so I didn't take that next hit, and I didn't break through on that time. So this is the time I broke through. This time was at night. This was a week later after this, the second attempt. This was a week later, and in between, I took myself on a little mushroom ceremony, microdose mushroom ceremony to kind of, that was my way of trying to work myself up to doing it. So, and I guess for me, that worked. For me, it worked. I'm not going to say, for y'all that's going to work or nothing like that. Like I said, I'm just sharing how I do it and what happened with me. So, I sit back, I pull out the vape, I put some 432s on. This time I'm putting headies in. Last time I was playing it out loud, nobody was around. But this time there were people around me, but they were asleep. This was late at night. So I was in a room by myself. I put my headphones in. I took the first hit, and immediately, last time when I took the first hit, I didn't feel anything. This time when I took the first hit, it was the shroom peak feeling again. The second hit I took, there was like a loud buzzing that was like, it started off small and it was getting louder and louder and louder. And for some reason, I was thinking, was it the 432s in my head? But I didn't even press play yet. Once I was already hitting it before I even, before I even hit play on anything. I just had the screen set up. But it was getting louder and louder and louder. And when it got to the loudest point, I was like, all right, let me just lay back, surrender. I took a deep breath. I was like, let me surrender. I think I'm really about to go this time. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna go. I took another hit. This time, it's almost like I saw the Matrix, how you know how it rains down zeros and ones. I was kind of seeing that kind of design going on, but it was yellows and purples and pinks and in between each streak of light there was like beings, faces of beings, all different types of beings. Like some look like animals, some look like humanoid type beings. There was billions of them. Like I'd never even seen most of the shit. I've never seen any of this shit before. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I've never seen none of this shit before. So all this is taking over my whole vision now. Like it's raining all over my vision. Like I feel like I'm in the midst of being transported somewhere else. DMT, you're no longer in where you were just at. Like I was sitting in the bedroom, I was no longer in that bedroom. I don't know where I was, but this whole thing took over my vision. And I'm just stuck in awe, looking around like, whoa, bro, this really brought me. This is just like, the feeling I feel right now is exactly how I was like speechless. I pretty much was fucking speechless looking around. I was trying not to be too astounded. I was trying to more absorb and observe. But it's so hard on DMT because everything's happening so quick and it's so intense. Like, so then I'm in this world for a little bit. I see things like, I see all these geometrical patterns and shapes, and they're like morphing and changing into things, and just a bunch of shit like that is happening for a while, right? Then there's like a purple being. I stop, I'm looking all around, and there's a purple being right in front of me. It was kind of, when I seen it, it was like to its side like this, and there was an eye on the side of its head, and then it like, it's weird because I can't even tell you how the being looked. I just remember it being purple and the eye was on the side of it like this. And when it turned to look at me, its eye turned like this and it looked directly at me. I'm like, okay. All right. I'm just sitting there like, okay, don't panic. Don't do anything. Just observe, you're here. I'm a traveler. I come in peace, So this thing looks at me and it like stretched itself to where it stretched itself, and then it like covered me. I felt like a crazy warm ass feeling. Like I wasn't no longer scared when it did that, because it felt like, it just felt so warming, and it felt like unconditional love. Like I can't even hold y'all. So I don't know if this being was like, and it had a feminine energy to it. It felt motherly kind of, but so when it wrapped me in its field of vision, it took over my whole. All I could see was this purple aura, and it felt like I got led on. No, it didn't feel like. I got led on timelines of my life. Like, I stopped at certain points that were like really, I guess, molded me into who I am. This being showed me, this gets deep for me, like this part of the trip. This being shows me times in my life where it showed me my worst times and it showed me my best times. I'm not going to get too full into detail because this part's kind of personal, but I will tell y'all something. It showed me one time that I've saved somebody's life, and I don't know if going through life, right? I don't know if we get so numb to certain things, like I forgot I saved somebody's life before, and this being was telling me like you are loved, you're being watched. Just know everything you do is we see it. I don't know what that meant by that, but we see it is kind of what I was getting from this being, and it was showing me all these different times I went through, my dark times, showed me how I flipped the polarity. It showed me how I'm raising good vibrations. All the people around me, the people who love me, they know this is really who I am, and this is really I'm just me, And the being was telling me that you're good. Just be you. That's okay. It is what it is. But how this trip ended, pretty much, like after these timelines, at one point it felt like a void, like an empty void, I don't remember what was happening. It was I don't know if it was just dark or I just can't remember, because DMT is kind of like a dream. It slips away like a dream. Like when I came back, I was blown away when I came back. I'm like, what the fuck just happened, bro? What the fuck just happened? And when I first sat myself up, the living room still the room I was in still looked crazy, but it also looked like it was just slowly fading, and then I was completely back to normal. Like, DMT is so fucking strange, bro. It's so fucking strange, and it's so quick, and it's so intense. I remember those parts because it hit my soul so hard, but I felt like there's a billion things that happened on my breakthrough. I just can't remember it all to tell y'all, but that's what I got from my breakthrough experience. Hey man, I got plenty more to share with y'all, plenty more journeys, I got LSD journeys, magic mushroom journeys. I got plenty